This is how I spent a lot of my day today. My neighbors right over there wanted some trees trimmed, so got a bunch of sweet gum branches in there and tulip branches, just all kinds. And I only got the front yard done, so I still have to do the backyard. But that's not what this video is about. We are out here looking at the clean 1973 Honda CB350 4, also known as the Bill. Went through and just cleaned the dickens out of it. Something else that I did was pop the headlight bucket out and took that sucker off of there. Now no, I did not leave the wires bare. I put some heat shrink tube on them. But she is all cleaned up, all purdied up, everything cleaned up really well. I was a little worried about the pot metal here, so I didn't work real hard on it, but it still presents pretty well. Plus, when the fairing's back on, all you're going to see is the bulb. But all the Brightwork cleaned up really, really nice. Even the mufflers cleaned up super nice. Now, I did not clean the rack because it had the trunk on it, and I just put the rack on yesterday, and when I popped the trunk off, I saw that it had the wood riveted to it. That's just neat. I really like that. But I believe I mentioned different areas that were kind of hinky. I wasn't sure if they were going to clean up. This was one. The other one was down here, down in here, and it cleaned up super, super nice. I have no complaints about how well everything cleaned up. But there's the Bill, all spit and polished. I still need to actually polish the side covers and the tank. But I mean, the tank looks great. But there we go. Nice shiny horn button now. Just the rims. Usually the rims are the first things to pit real bad right around where the spokes are. No such. It's just, everything just cleaned up super, super nice on the bike, and I'm real, real happy with it. And of course, the annoying little turn signal buzzer is no longer. But there is the Bill, all cleaned up. I hope you guys think I did an okay job cleaning it. Next step is taking care of the tank and popping the carburetors off and getting started on those. And I think it was Willie Cook, I'm sorry if I got it wrong, suggested a number of things with the carburetors that I definitely appreciate. And he said something to the effect of using a one of those, using a water bottle instead of the flow bead type little BBs. But no, not to worry, because I have the proper carburetor synchronizer to get all 4 carburetors synchronized. It's just a thing of beauty. Cleaned up really, really nice. I did notice a couple spots that I missed here and there. For example, these little chrome rings up here, I didn't get those. But without taking everything off, taking everything apart, and going through it with a fine-tooth comb, even the hubs came out looking really nice. Front hub looks better than the back hub. Back hub still got a little bit of dirty junk in it, but I couldn't get my brush in there. But I'll work on that again. But there's the Bill, all cleaned up. Now just to get everything else taken care of on it. And I wanted to take a minute to explain, you know, I keep saying that it's self-healing. Well, it's not unusual for that to happen with something that has been sitting for a very long time. In fact, it's quite common that things will start to straighten out. For example, the alternator, and it was charging at 14.2 volts at 3000 RPM, just as an FYI. So it wasn't at idle. Right now with the carburetors the way they are, it will not idle. But now I forgot where I was going with it. Oh, when I posted the video about the bill self-healing, it's really not unusual for electronics to decide that they're going to start working again. I helped the situation by pulling the headlight bucket, unplugging, cleaning, adding new dielectric grease, and plugging everything back in so I don't have future issues. I will do the same on the electronics underneath the seat after I get the air box and everything out, and also underneath the tank there's a number of connectors there that I will also unplug and then plug back in. I was very careful not to get the key switch wet so that I didn't have issues with that, and I am excited. You know, you guys said you can hear the excitement in my voice, and I am. It's a beautiful motorcycle. It's 44-year-old survivor, and I come out and sometimes I will just sit and look at it. That's all I'll do. You can see down here I did a little bit of polishing on the chain guard here, but I didn't over here, so I have some water spots here, water spots on the frame there, but I wanted to see if it was going to clean up, and you guys can see the sun glare off of that. So all the rest of this will clean up real nice, and I'll more than likely pull the chain guard off. And that's something else I have. I don't know how well this will show up, but I've got quite a bit of slack built up on the chain, so the wheel definitely needs to be adjusted. And I really don't know what else to say other than thank all of you guys for all of the wonderful suggestions. I'm taking as many of them to heart as I can, and learning as I go. You guys, my expertise is in the Briggs & Stratton engine realm and simplicities and Alice Chalmers. I'm not afraid of bigger engines. You know, I mean, back in the day I've rebuilt small block Chevys, and I've worked on just about everything, but except for foreign exotics, haha. But we're venturing into somewhat uncommon ground here. Also, I will get the valves adjusted, and I will also number the carburetors, which is another suggestion. And I've got little tape numbers. You can see here that cylinder number 4 has a 4 on it. I have little tape numbers that I will put on the bodies of the carburetors so that when I pull everything apart, I can put it all back together correctly. I will also, and I've done this on all of my carburetors, I always count how many times it takes to bottom out an emulsion tube or a jet screw till it seats, and I will of course do that with these 4 carburetors. Doing all 4 carburetors at once, pull all the fuel bowls. Hopefully I do not run into a horrid mess, but if I do run into a horrid mess, I will most certainly do my due diligence to get everything as clean as possible. My hopes are that these carburetors are salvageable. Number 1 and number 4 are operating great. Number 2 and number 3 not so much. Number 3 is worse than number 2. And I am guilty. I have been riding around the neighborhood on it. I now have 18.6 miles on it, and I have got one little stretch of road that just got repaved, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this on that stretch of road, since the speed limit's 45, and run up and down that road and see if things open up and clear out a little bit as far as, you know, the carburetors behaving. And oh my goodness, once the engine was good and warmed up, I was lucky with the hit miss on 2 and 3. I was lucky to get 5,000 RPM out of it. Well, I'm going down and hit that throttle, and this just jumped from 5 straight to 8 just in a really big hurry. So the additives that I've got in the gas tank are obviously helping to clean things out, but I am going to be pulling the carb. And I know that this is kind of a boring video. I'm not actually physically doing anything, but hang in there because I am preparing to take the tank off and do all the fun happy stuff with the tank. And I did take my bore scope and like I say, I don't remember if I posted the video on it or not. And there goes my phone. I don't know if I posted the video on it or not about when I did the bore scope inside the tank. And if we can get this thing to come up inside the tank, but there's a considerable amount of scaling left and a considerable amount of rust. So I'm going to attack that dry, then I'm going to attack that wet, then I'm going to use the rust stuff that I've got to clean and empty the tank out, and it will take it says 2 to 4 hours, so I don't want to overdo it, but there's no acids in that product, so it's evaporust, by the way. There are no acids in the no acids in evaporust, so I don't see where it's going to hurt to let it sit and soak a little longer. But I've yammered for almost 12 minutes. That is enough of that. This is your friendly